Namaskar. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Welcome, everybody. It is 7 p.m. here in India. All of you, some of you in India, some of you abroad. Welcome, each one of you. Welcome to two of us talking Zindagi, sipping life. How are you? In different parts of the world, different places. I'm very happy that today I'm going to engage in a conversation. So it's very important that today, the two of us conversations happen over a cuppa. So requesting you all also to pick up your cuppa and have a chilled time as we engage in a conversation. I'm going to bring up my guest in a few minutes as you all settle down with your cuppa and engage and listen in. Hi, welcome Abhishek. Welcome Abhishek. स्वागत है आप सबका. आलोक, स्वागत है आपका. लखनऊ, विश्वनाथ Iyer, welcome. Wonderful. Great. So without much further ado, my absolute pleasure to have a cuppa, my friend Ramki. स्वागत है आपका.
स्वागत है. A cuppa here too.
Wonderful. And what is your choice of cuppa?
No, the chai, sir. It's always chai.
क्या बात है.
Despite being a South Indian, I think chai is what gets me going.
Tambram having chai, huh? That's interesting. That's interesting. And seriously, for me, I'm not a beverage person at all, Ramki. So I grew up in a family where my father was an absolute. He was a tea person. He was like, and he had some interesting tales about tea. He would share that he was a freedom fighter. He would say that Brook Bond used to offer free tea in Varanasi on the ghats, and this was in the 1940s.
Wow.
And so I never got to it. I drink coffee in Chennai and Karnataka and tea in Punjab and some coffee in Bombay whenever I get. So welcome. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much. It's pretty similar for me. When I'm back home in Coimbatore, which is where my parents stay, it's always coffee. That filter coffee in Tamil Nadu is to die for. But otherwise, I'm a chai person. And like my wife will certify, in the last 6 months, thanks to this situation that we are in, I make a pretty good cup of tea now.
You do? Are you the dip person?
Oh, no. It's got to have adrak, it's got to have kali mirch, it's got to have tulsi, it's got to have all the other ingredients.
I'm talking to a Punjabi.
No, but here's the thing. In this whole pandemic, we've been just two of us at home. So I can make perfect 2 cups of tea. But if a third person comes along and we say, like, 3 logon ke liye chai banao, I'm not too sure I'll get there yet.
Ramki, I have a feeling that you're giving me a hint.
I'm a little worried now.
Not to expect a good cup of tea if I come to your place. You say, I'm good with 2 cups, huh? You just gave us that.
I'll make 2 cups of tea. One you will have, one my wife will have. So there are ways of getting around it, Ashish.
Absolutely. And talking to a banker and a kind person, I can imagine that. And you're mentioning Reena, and I think you're sitting in front of one of her works.
That is right. And I'm very, very proud of this. This is one of her works.
Yes.
And the way I keep joking with her, I said, this is my retirement plan, because she's a fabulous artist. And my house is just filled with these colors. For a boring banker like me, I think it's nice to have a colorful house.
And what little I know of you, you're anything but boring. Ramki, and we will explore that during this conversation of ours. So where was childhood for you?
So my childhood is, you've seen people who will say I'm from this city or I'm from that city. I'm a Fauji kid. So I really can't tell you which city I'm from, because every 3 years, thanks to my dad moving from one base to another, I've lived in different parts of the country. So essentially, like I said, I'm a Tambram, but from North India, South India is probably the one place I have never stayed in. Although I was
Hmm.
born in Bangalore, but apart from that, Nasik, Jodhpur, Chandigarh, Delhi, Bombay, all the other places. So I'm really I'm a national kid, let me say. So
Yeah.
childhood's all over, but Delhi is where I did my last few years of schooling and college.
Got
So
it.
probably to some extent, therefore my Hindi is a lot better than my Tamil.
And you're from across the road.
I am across the road. Don't go there. Then that will be a different topic altogether, Ashish.
And we will come to that. We will come to that, of course. We will come to that. So, what I find very interesting, especially, I mean, for me, I'm a product. I'm born and brought up in Delhi. Bengali mother from Rajasthan, Malayali father, and
Wow.
I have loved the cross cultural connects, and especially, and you will resonate with that. You did it by your travels. I did it by way of the parents that I had, and my father spent a whole lot of time in born in Kerala, but spent a lot of time as a freedom fighter in Varanasi, Calcutta, Bombay,
Mhm.
and my mother was from, again, as I said, from Rajasthan, and she traveled all over. What? How do you think? If I say I call myself comfortably rootless, has has the rootlessness? How does it sit with you?
Actually, very comfortable with that. Uh,
Yeah.
so these lot of 5 6 months has been rootfulness, if at all there's such a word, because I'm just completely rooted to this room or this house. But otherwise, I'm very comfortable traveling, very comfortable moving cities. Right from my childhood, I'm so used to making new friends every 2 years and 3 years.
Wow.
Normally, kids like to stick to their hometown or their the kids that they grew up with, lifelong
Mm.
friends. I've just changed friends every 3 years. I've kept in touch. So actually, this rootlessness is quite comfortable with me. Even today, as a career, someone says, "Are you mobile, willing to go anywhere?" Yeah, I am. Uh, so I actually find it comforting that I can get to see a new city, a new place, a new culture. Uh, I guess it's my background and my upbringing. Very
Yeah.
comfortable.
And for me, what I've also want to check with you, for me, even as I say that I am, uh, the huge possibilities of tertiary routes, and
Ah,
as
yeah, yeah,
as I've worked across cultures and traveled, and for me also, I made friends across cultures, and I keep making friends even now. Uh, Not sticking to one primary one, that's my only thing. It's allowed me to have a lot of, what should I say,
yeah,
cross cultural things inside me,
yeah.
not just as a visitor. I kind of own it. I own the,
Interesting.
I own that coffee, and I own the Punjabi chai. I own the Surse Bata March, even though you're a vegetarian. But I'm saying
Yes.
that, like, and for me, it's friends in food.
Wow. Wow. That's and Ashish, like I'm sure the world knows you more as an actor. I've never met you as an actor, right? You and me, our relationship or
Yeah,
our interaction has never been as an actor. But I know
yeah.
as an actor, you have actually spread your roots far and wide. It's not just Hindi
Mm,
cinema, which probably most people know you for, but you
mm,
have done a lot of that. And it's not just movies, exactly what you're saying. I've seen you dabbling in a lot of things and a
mm.
lot with a lot of passion. So you again that rootlessness I see in you as well.
Yeah,
It's not just geography, it's
yeah,
it's even the activities. Yeah.
yeah. Very interesting. And Ramki, something which intrigues me is that root, or whatever you call it, anything that limits, anything that
Mm.
puts you in a, saying that you are this,
Yeah.
anything that defines you,
Yeah.
it does something, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
This whole thing about think out of the box.
Mm.
Why does one need to get into a box in the first place? Right? Why? I mean, very cliched, but you're right. It limits. And if you can keep those options open of saying kuch aur karte hain. In fact, I think you sent out a message a couple of weeks back. What's your idea today of doing something that you've never done before or something like
Mm.
that?
Yeah.
That's how I think it's a great idea.
Wow.
Reena and me actually talked about it. Never
Mm.
got down to doing it, but we at least we talked about it.
You do it all the time, my friend. And so here is something I want to ask you. Before the banker,
Ah.
even before your college days, traveling from one place to the other, what was childhood like for you?
So, like I said, one is kept changing friends, changing locations, but 4G kid. Now, 4G kid
Mm,
comes with certain ways of living.
okay.
Discipline was important. Timekeeping is important. Okay, to be uh, reasonably well cultured, well presented, presentable, talking with a lot of respect to elders. All of that, I think, was a must have. In fact, uh, some of my friends joke about how I eat idlis and samosas with a knife and fork. But that's because I was not allowed to eat with a hand if I were to walk into an officer's mess. You can't.
Uh, God,
So I guess there was a fair bit of discipline.
sure.
But again, being a 4G kid, it's a very liberal atmosphere,
Got
right?
it.
So it allows you to experiment a lot. So it is a mix of both. But
Hmm.
I think, and again, while I'm talking about my dad being a 4G kid and being a part of my life, my mom, on the other hand, is a trained Carnatic music all India radio singer. She's learned under the best and etc. etc. So there was a mix of discipline and culture, which that's really what my childhood was all about.
Yeah, and it's kind of showing up now.
So,
Yeah, it's
so
showing up in
i-
so many
back in
ways.
those days, it used to be my mom used to be a classical music, Carnatic music singer. I used to dabble in some Bollywood singing here and there, and my sister used to sing all these English music songs,
All
and my
right.
dad used to sit with cotton in his ears because he did just like three of us singing at the same time.
And different notes, huh? Different notes. So different notes have played a role in your life.
Absolutely, absolutely, and all of them have played the right note, if I may say, and therefore
Mm,
it's helped me to get to where I am today. Whoever thought
beautiful.
I'd be doing this with
And
you
this
at some
this I
point?
love. This I love. It's that line of Caligula. Because you see, we as actors, we called mad by people. Uh,
Really?
and one
Yeah.
reason, one reason why people call us mad is that we are mad. Okay. So having said that, I discovered many years back that even though I'm an actor, and there is
Yeah.
there's a mad streak in me. That's why you do these kind of things. Um, at the same time, I understood, and when you're talking of the different notes, um, I was very clear that I had certain responsibilities to fulfill.
Yeah.
So that line from Caligula really helped me. It said that having a method to your madness, and I hear you when you say that,
Yeah.
uh, to hitting the right notes where it is needed.
But and the madness is required, right, Ashish?
Yeah,
Uh, too
yeah,
structured, too methodical is also. I mean, nothing wrong in it. But
sure.
I guess if you really want to achieve something different, thoda pagalpan to banta hai, I think.
बहुत जरूरी. And to play that game, because see, and this is what intrigues me, that even that, as you grow in life, you really get that you got to pay your bills.
Yeah.
I keep sharing that. I mean, like, your dreams need to be paid for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. and,
Absolutely.
and you could have a myriad of dreams, but those dreams need to be paid for. You need to invest in it. And let's face it, that there's a difference between a lottery, then you strike a jackpot, and you have a regularity with which you are earning, and to bring that regularity in. Absolutely, I get that. Even though discipline for me is an anathema. uh, my mother didn't like me for one bit. She used to hold me like this and comb my hair. Really, she was a strict disciplinarian, and I wanted to grow up. So when I went into college, the first thing that I did is I stopped combing my hair.
Combing your hair.
Yeah, because my mom used to just hold me like this and comb my hair. I have recently again restarted combing my hair for a different reason, because I have to hide the scalp which shows now.
But Ashish, and I've seen you in plays. There's a lot of discipline there. So I don't think discipline is the anathema because I guess you pick and choose. and you know that this is something that without discipline probably doesn't work, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen that. And
So, so
that's why we met you. In fact, I met you the first time there.
yeah.
I
So
remember.
yeah, we will in fact have a look at that photograph also later. But I just want to ask one thing. So this part of I will be creative, and yet I understand the importance of doing things
Yeah,
on time and
yeah,
doing things the way. How did that impact your life even before you went into college in Delhi?
yeah. So honestly, and I'll be very honest, before I went to college and my work and all of that, I was not creative at all. Not at all. I was very structured. I was this good tambram boy.
Got
Dad
it.
said, "No baje so jao, no baje so jao." I was like that. So I did lead an extremely structured life.
Mhm.
Okay, I was this nerd in school, in college. I really was a nerd. I can tell you this upfront right now. I couldn't talk to girls till I got into college. I just couldn't, because I was so busy in my little world, and that was a very, very structured world. But I did realize over time that it can't be like that forever. And there's a place for structured, and I still value that structured part of my life. But there's also a place to let go, be a little
Mhm.
crazy, try something that you have not tried before. So
Got it.
school time tak structured, uske baad it's been a little bit of a mix.
And it's been so the choices that you made,
Yeah.
I mean, very clearly. So did it ever strike you that so much structure now will have no structure? How did you make that balance between that? I will probably even continue with that structure, even though it used to be the only thing.
Yeah.
Uh, did you go from one end to the other?
No, no, thankfully not. And I think again, part of probably my upbringing, it was maybe the little bit of, and now that you're talking, I'm thinking aloud. Maybe
Hmm.
it was a little bit of fear that
Ah,
can I leave structured aside at all? Maybe it was a little bit of fear. But then I realized that the structured thing is something that's getting me a lot of success. So
wow.
don't give it away completely, but add a little bit more to yourself. So I
Kya
did
baat
take small steps, and maybe right now as I'm entering my midlife or post midlife crisis, maybe I'm swinging a little bit more to the other side. Look at this.
hai.
I'm doing a call like this, which has got nothing to do with my banking career or the structured me. And by the way, I must tell everyone about this. When Ashish called and said, let's have this, I've done so many Zoom calls in the last few months and so many calls in my life. Normally it's piece of cake. But boss, I was a little nervous, Ashish, because this is no syllabus. There is no syllabus to today's call. And that is the structured part of me that gets a little nervous saying, yeah, structure nahi hai. क्या पूछेंगे आशीष? What am I supposed to answer? Talking Zindagi, what does it mean? So now I guess I'm moving more towards experimenting with all of this. If I've answered
Hmm.
your question, Lala.
No, it's also a very interesting thing. One thing which you pointed, and I think if people can look at that, for me also, in whichever way I also chose a bit of the structured part, is when I got that I have responsibilities to fulfill.
Oh,
And okay, so for me, even though it was okay, schooling was structured, but by the time I reached college, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. There was like it was like life was a Brownian motion. It was like what will
all over
happen?
the
I'm
place.
like moving all over. Okay, but somewhere I think somewhere, and I don't know why, except for uh, my inner thing that I had to take care of my parents. I said that, boss, as much madness. For example, I used to be a crazy kid in college, but I
Okay.
never ever went to a discotheque throughout college. And my friends, even in college, will find it very hard to believe, because I was doing all sorts of things, but
Yeah.
never went to a
Yeah.
discotheque. Because in my mind, Ramki, um, um, my money couldn't be spent there.
Ah,
Okay.
okay. Interesting.
I was very, very clear that I had very little. My parents were all uh, nearly retired. Father had retired. My mother was extending her service just to, make sure that I stand up on my feet. So in my mind, I was doing a lot of crazy things, but there was a limit, and I was clear that I had to, I had to be responsible towards something which was not much. There was not much of. And here comes my question to you in that context, that in a leading a very structured life, you
Yeah,
are introduced to something more creative.
yeah.
How did the creative occur to you when you tasted it?
It was a high. I have to admit, it was a high. I have done some crazy stuff as well, including some of my passions, and I never thought I would do those things. It's a high, but I guess there is that little bit of stability that I had before I started on these passions of mine that
Mm.
helps me keep my grounding. Otherwise, just imagine if you didn't have a solid foundation and you felt a high. Would you
Mm.
ever come back to ground? I don't know.
Very,
So
very,
I
very.
think foundation strong. Now experience your high, and experience your high because of what you can achieve or what you think you can do, not because of artificial substances. So I'm not into that, but otherwise just experience a
I
high because you have achieved something. That's it.
Fantastic. In fact, for me, a very critical part, and that's what is that just imagine, when you can take a leap, and if you can manage to land,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
land, I think,
exactly.
is a key part of life, isn't it, Ramki?
Absolutely, everyone teaches you how to leap,
Yeah.
right? No one teaches you how to land.
Yeah.
For example, I was talking to somebody else and they said, oh my god, you got into this college in IIM and must have been really tough to get in. I said, it's not tough to get in, it's tough to get out. Getting in is actually sometimes easier. And you know what happens? Because you get in thinking you're the best because you made it into such a prestigious institution, and then you find there are 120 people in your batch who also made it to the same institution and they're much better than you.
Wow.
So getting out is tougher. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Leaping easy, landing not easy.
Yeah.
Very well said, actually, that one.
Yeah. And in fact, my take on this, very frankly, is that we as human beings are not really suited for success. You know, we typically work well when we have less of it. When we are dealing with failures, we are the most humble people. We are kind. We are ready to work hard. We don't really want to do whatever I need. It's I've seen me there. Like, really. But once we get something,
Yeah.
excess does something to the human brain. You know,
So you
behavior.
face that as well, Ashish, because you've done a lot of creative stuff in your thing.
Yeah,
You've got that high which you think is, let's say, not a healthy high. Has
yeah.
that ever happened to you?
So yes, absolutely, Ramki. And what I'm sharing is part of my life, and that's that was that Abe Lincoln who said that there are a lot of people who come up the hard way, but you give a person power. He mentioned
Yeah,
power,
yeah, yeah,
and then you see the metal of that person. And for me, the same is true of success, because all of us, we kind of, whatever else, it's the anonymity that we have when nobody knows you. And
yeah.
especially as an actor, you crave
Mhm.
to be known, you crave to be
Yeah, yeah.
recognized. And guess what, one day you are recognized. And I have this funny tale, when you become, oh, get that boy, that dark boy, get him there. From there you become Ashish G. Something
Wow.
happens. Oh,
Wow.
it's a huge thing,
That's
my
a high.
friend.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's
a
a
high.
high. And trust me, um, therefore I've always felt that, and I've seen people over this 26-year career as an actor across cultures, that handling success, handling being a known person, handling being a celebrity is a huge issue.
It is, right?
And
Yeah.
it's no different in any profession, except in films and sports. It really hits you big, because suddenly, like, your voice changes and people expect you to behave in a particular way. And for me, this question that I want to ask you is that, have you seen, because I have seen you unaffected by what you have achieved in your life, okay, in your profession. All right. What do you see has allowed you to handle yourself?
Just the fact that and maybe it may sound I'm a little being overly modest, but I just think I haven't achieved enough as yet.
Oh,
So why do you really want to celebrate something when you haven't done much?
mhm,
I still think there's a little way to go.
mhm.
Um, so that to an extent keeps me a little grounded. Secondly, that whatever I've achieved is not me and me alone.
Sure.
I've achieved it because of a bunch of other people who have stood by me. It could be at work, it could be at home, it could be my parents, my wife, it could be a lot of people.
Hmm.
I give credit to whatever I am today, including to my pet dogs who have kept me, calm when I come back home. So it's a lot of other people who also should take credit. So why should I suddenly become this superstar and say, oh my God, I've achieved a lot? So it's a mix of two things. I haven't achieved enough as yet. And secondly, it's not my success alone.
Hmm. So essentially, what
Ashish,
you're saying,
you're making me think a lot. This chai is helping. Thank God I have this. Sorry, you were saying? Yeah.
yeah. So essentially, what you're saying is that the second part is that, and that's an interesting one. The Eat, Pray, Love author.
Mm.
She shared something very interesting in one of her TED talks, which I quite liked. I think I also mentioned it. She said that she had written this beautiful book and amazing success, and she said the next thing that I need to deal with is that what next? What's
Yeah.
coming up next? And
Yeah.
she mentioned one thing in it, and she spoke of the English language, where you say that it's the genius in you.
Mhm.
Okay, it's the genius in you. You're not called the genius.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
say it's the
Okay.
genius in you.
In you.
And so, in a way, it is that I didn't do it. It is the genie
Genius that did
in
it.
me,
Or
which did it. So, what you say here is also interesting, if I can understand that one way of you dealing with success, saying that it's not me, it is we.
it is. It's always
And
we.
and and for a moment, I'm just kind of thinking aloud, and even as people are listening in, what happens? What happens to a human being? And you may have seen it, just like I have, and for me, I have also experienced it in myself.
Mhm.
How does the we suddenly become a me, Ramki?
I don't know. Is it being insecure? Firstly,
Hmm.
uh, to me that's the starting of we becoming me. Is that why are so many people? Am I being left behind just
Mm.
because we are getting celebrated?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a need to even feel that way. You are an integral part of the we, and as long as you have that self confidence that I am an integral part of it, you will not feel insecure. If you are insecure, then you're thinking you're not an integral part, and then you
Ah,
probably aren't an integral part, and then you deserve not to be a part of the we, right? So I would
yeah.
say take it in your own hands, be confident that you are an integral part and you won't be left behind. Then I think the we should never become a me. I don't know,
And
maybe
you,
it's all theoretical, but
no,
I
no,
think
no,
that's
no,
what
no.
works.
It's making such a lot of sense to me, because I really get, especially when you say that when I become a me, then when I'm actually taking myself out of the equation,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm so insecure. I'm trying to be part of the equation, and I want to be the most important part of the equation. And I suddenly realize the equation is working fine without me. Okay.
Absolutely. So this thing about saying that I need to be indispensable is the
Ah,
worst thing you could do, because then that's when you're never going to grow if you become indispensable. Oh, you are, like Ramki is the great guy in this particular role. We can't do without him. So
don't let him
Ramki,
go.
you're going to stay here for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
That's not what one wants to be. So
sure.
you should have to let go to say, you know what, I have added as much as I could here. Now things can go on, but not easy to say that.
Sure. And here is an interesting one that I get here at this point, Ramki. That for me to move in that direction, then I also have to personally discover more about me
Yeah.
than what got consumed in my
Yes.
last position, or in the position that I've held.
Yes. Yes.
And
And so you're
yeah,
right.
go
So
on.
because what I used up back there in my
Hmm.
previous me was what, for example, in the corporate world, I would call my performance. What I need further is what I call potential. Okay. Like
Hmm.
what people say is, boss, I'm a great performer. Why don't you promote me? I'm sorry. You're a great performer. I'll reward you. You want to promote, you want to move to the next level. I need to see potential. So you reward performance, you grow potential. So that's how I see it. I don't know. Whether I'm saying things which are just, I hope I'm making sense, Ashish.
Awesomeness. Awesomeness. This is one of the reasons that I do conversations like this, Ramki.
So, and when you reached out to me again, and we agreed on this, the fact that there's no syllabus. And that's what I said. I said, I'm amazed you do it week after week, talking about yourself, and yet every time you discover new things about yourself, right? So that's amazing to me. And I've seen you as a great learner, that you are actually learning from each and every step. This is very interesting to me, and actually, Ashish, I've learned from there that you have actually taken every opportunity to notice, observe, learn, and tell the world about it. I can never forget that story I think you put up of when you were in a cab and there's a cab driver who I think borrowed your phone or something because he had to make a call to wake up his daughter to go to school.
Oof.
Many people may not have realized it, may have slept through the journey. You heard it, you made a story around it, you learned from it, and you're teaching us about it. So I'm quite impressed with what you do with that.
So, what you just shared opened up something very interesting for me. And I would just want to, when you spoke about that, the things that you did earlier, you may be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
All right. But for the next one, you'll have to really create something afresh.
Yeah.
And this is something which I have celebrated in life, because past laurels are amazing ego trips.
Exactly.
Amazing trips. It's when we sit and then we regale others with those tales, and then we encourage others to tell others our tales.
Exactly.
Okay. And just about when the tale is ending, we say, "Arey, forget it, yaar. No need to talk about it." After the tale has been
After the tale is told. That's very easy, And look, I think everyone has had a great performance at some stage in their life. Right? You don't need to be a celebrity to have a success. Everyone's had a great performance, and it's nice to live in the shadow of that performance for a while, but you have to move on.
Absolutely. Ramki, how important is humor for you?
I can't live without humor, Ashish. I just can't live without humor. Sometimes it gets to the point of people are irritated with me saying I apparently I joke at a lot of stuff, or I'm always laughing about something. So imagine a serious banker like me, and I'm supposed to be like, always have a stiff upper lip, but it is you. It's a very, very important part of my life. I don't know why
And
you asked this question.
what does it add to your life? What does it add? What does humor add to your life?
It's happiness. It's just simple happiness, nothing else. If you can laugh at something, and especially if you can laugh at yourself, even better. But to find something humorous in most situations where people would probably not see humor, I think that's great. So for me, it's a stress buster. It adds happiness to me. And look, at the end of the day, if it makes me smile, surely it's going to make at least one other person smile just because I smile. So why not?
Wow.
And is there a downside? Let me see. There's no downside, right? To appreciating humor. As long as it's good, clean humor, there's no downside. Go for it.
I see it, it just makes me feel light.
Yeah. See, that's it. Yes.
I have an issue with losing weight, but I make up for that with keeping it light. And
Good one.
and Ramki, one of the things, and especially when you are in a profession where you are in the eyes of people, people do bring you up, so the people bring me up in conversations where they place me in a particular place. All right. They put me at a pedestal or whatever you may call it. Many a times I have experienced that a lot of people, that pressure of living up to your expectation of me makes me of course do something to my voice, lose my ability to have a smile. Have you felt that people around you expected you in a particular way, um, and you did something else?
I think it's natural, Ashish, to your point. I think people always expect you to live up to an image that they have seen, right? Always. And again, you don't need to be a somebody for that to happen to you. Everyone, it's happened to them. So they remember you in a particular manner and they expect you to behave like that. Now, I can't recollect a specific incident where I've behaved differently, but I hope I haven't made a conscious attempt to always live up to that image if it isn't the right thing to do.
Got
So
it.
if the image is right and that is genuinely who I am, I would love to do that.
And Ramki,
But
you have flowed, right? You have flowed. You have flowed. I mean, the
yeah,
Ramki in school, as you said, became a slightly different Ramki in college,
yes, yes, yes.
right? And then since then also that move happened. Like in IIM. So none of us is a constant, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and that again that constant. It's something. Somebody's seen you at some place and they say, okay, he's this, but Ramki is moved. Ramki is moved.
And
So
therefore that image is not static. That image
yeah,
was static then. And by the way, if something good from that image can be carried forward, great. But it's always a different image.
yeah, it's a
It's an
moving image.
evolving image. It's a moving image. Absolutely.
We're part of the movies, my friend. You and I,
You are part of the movies, but
all of
I don't know
us.
where I became a part of it. But
We all are. We all are part of moving images. And
you see, Ashish, here's the point.
yeah.
I remember your earliest movie. Okay? You were a villain. And
Mm,
I'm sure you would know that, right? You've taken on those negative roles where people would have cast you as that image.
yeah.
You have evolved. Today I don't even if you ask me, Ramki, can you name a movie in which I played a negative role? I don't remember because that image is forgotten. I'm sure it's there because
Yeah.
you won awards also for it, right? But that image I remembered once. Now I have a different image of Ashish. So you have evolved,
Yeah.
and so has my outlook of you.
Sure.
And I think that's what also people will do.
And I think what you raise is a very interesting thing, and that's kind of flowing into my next one is that um, I had asked you once about you being passionate about your work and
Yep.
what are your passions, and I loved what you had said, and I just to listen to that again, I will ask you. So in this evolving Ramki,
Yeah.
so he found his passion in banking.
No. So very different. So this is and this is a line I've used a lot. So a lot of people would have heard me say it. So apologies if some of it is a
No,
bit.
I have heard it before, but I want people to hear it because I think it was very, very powerful, my friend.
So I would say music is my passion.
Mm,
I'd say my love for animals is a passion.
wow.
Banking is not my passion. I do it with a lot of passion, but it's not my passion. So I didn't grow up saying, "Wow, I want to be the best banker ever." No, but yes, I grew up in a musical household. So I grew up saying, "Wow, I want to be a good singer," or I've always had pets at home. Want to
Yeah.
be a great, into animal, etc. So that was it. So banking is, yes, I do it with a lot of passion, and I will continue to do it as long as I work in a banking career, but not my passion.
Just imagine what you just shared very powerfully, very simply you have put it is that, and I know the kind of work that you do, the hours that you put in, the kind of level, the caliber that you bring to your work. So, Ramki, this is something which, when I first heard it, if I'm not mistaken, it was in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
We were after the event, we were sitting and having coffee, and
Yes.
uh, and you shared that with me, and it struck me. I said, this hardworking guy just kind of transformed it. And when you shared that, I do my work with passion,
Yeah.
and that is a amazing takeaway for me. It was an amazing takeaway for me then and now, is that rather than being upset that I'm not doing a thing which I'm passionate about, can I bring passion into what
Into
I'm doing?
what I'm doing. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Because not everyone is fortunate enough to convert their passion into a career. I
Yeah.
wish I could. Not everyone is.
Yeah.
But but life deals you a set of cards, and I've been very fortunate that life has dealt me a very, very good set of cards. Why not
Beautiful.
show passion into that? So that's what. So banking is my career, and put a lot of passion into it. It's fun. Banking isn't boring.
ज्वाला सी जलती है आंखों में जिसके भी दिल में तेरा नाम है, परवाह ही क्या उसका आरंभ कैसा है और कैसा परिणाम है.
I don't believe this. You've
Good
done
timing.
a lot of research. You've done a lot
Good
of research. Great timing,
Good
I would
timing.
say.
And this is, I mean, this is amazing, and that's why I kind of wanted to bring it. Would you share something about this aspect of you?
Yeah, so like I said, I've always loved singing, although I'm not at all trained, zero training. Haven't learned music at all, but just a passion. But it's only in the last few years that I took it up very seriously. So I won't call it riyaz, but I sing for at least about half an hour to an hour every day. And for me, it's a stress buster. And just light songs. In fact, this one, I don't know how you pulled this out. This one is most topical. We recorded it last week because it was
Okay.
Ganesh Chaturthi. And one of a very tough song to sing. Ajay Atul has done this beautiful composition from the movie Agnipath. So we tried this as a group of friends. So yes, so like I said, passion, and I realized that I've lost a lot of years that I didn't do this. So it's only the last 4 or 5 years that I started this, but now it's become almost it's a habit. It's a
And I also love the twist,
yeah.
the
There
twist
is
with which you follow this passion. Would you like to share that? Obviously, these people that you sing with, and that's a group of people that you've known for years, right?
I wish I could say that. Some of these people I never met. So there's a group of 4 people that we started singing together. We sang over maybe 100 songs together. Never met even
Can you
once in life.
this?
We were in different cities, different countries, different continents. Yet we continued, and it became a passion for all of us. That happened. Yes, we eventually did meet. We all took one trip, and just imagine this. Uh, Again, here's me, who's a structured life I've been talking about.
Got it.
We decided to suddenly meet in a country. All 4 of us traveled, met, spent a few days together, just for the first time, and just meeting each other, singing, enjoying
After
life.
having
And
sung for how long? After having sung for
2
how
years.
long without having
2
met?
years. 2 years,
So
and when I say 2 years, it's like say every week we create a song. So you can think about the and number of practice sessions, all of this online, thanks to technology. I think I've managed to do that.
and this is what I again found very, very the twist in this tale was something which I found interesting. That I see a lot of passions of you kind of converge in very different ways, because and I will quickly bring to the fore your travel also.
Oh yeah.
You bring your travel also with a slightly twist, huh?
Okay. So this is an important one because I can't swim. Okay, this is a
Okay.
lovely deep sea outfit, and I can't swim to save my life. But again, I said,
Literally,
I
literally,
really,
that's a fun.
literally, I can't swim. So this was one of my travels, and we said, let's do it, and let's try something we've never done before. We did this. I was really scared. I must admit I was really scared, but wow, what a feeling at the end of it. And again, I know where you're coming from. This travel was again with a group of people that initially had never met before. So very, very weird story, but we decided just I knew 1 or 2 people, and one person got a second person got a third person. And finally we all met at the airport in the morning at 6 a.m. for the first time ever. And then we set out on a trip, and we have done 3 trips till now. Every year we pick one location, and this year should have been the 4th one, but inshallah next year.
Can I tell you something? May I share something which is
Yeah.
it may seem a little selfish, but mea culpa. I have missed. I have not liked 2 of your vacations.
I know why, but please share. Go on.
I have not liked 2 of your vacations because you took away the best physio that I know of. And when I wanted an appointment, she said, "I'm sorry, I'm on a trip with your dear friend." And Shiny, and I know that magician.
Yes.
and then I came to know that you all know, and you guys travel, and she's all praise for the, the wackiness of the places that you pick up, and the very fact that you people just meet and then you again move away. So is there a pattern to you, Ramki, that you're mixing a lot of things? Here I again don't see you just as somebody who's just singing, regular singing or something, or just regular traveling. Is there that urge for you to discover also, and to do more than just singing, to do more than that adventure that you said, that you people just step out and you come back and you look forward to it, and you're then fully immersed in work, and again you go out. What else is happening?
So I don't know, maybe some people, and I personally have thought that maybe I'm a little confused. I don't really know what to do, and I keep doing different things. So you talked about Shiny, for example. I met her because I suddenly decided to do this 100-kilometer walk. I'm the laziest person on earth. I'm right now sitting on a couch, my God, this is just not fair. I don't know how you get up these things. Yeah, so that was a 100-kilometer walk that I did. I know in this last few months, I wouldn't even have gotten out of my home now, and therefore I needed a physio help to get ready for it and all of that stuff. So yeah, I think I'm trying different things. But to go to your example, I do this, come back, and then never again. So look, let me look for something else. And then the next one I did was a deep sea diving. So possibly, yes, I am trying different things. Maybe it's confused, or maybe it's experimenting, but I just like the fact that I'm trying different things. And I'm a little worried about what are the pictures you've got up.
Yeah, I know. No, we won't bother you with more photographs. Probably we do have. But, for me, that's the interesting part of life, movement. Okay, movement for me is a very key part of life. In fact, I say, when in doubt, move. Okay, that's what I do, Ramki. When in doubt, I move. Because I'm very clear that as I move, new horizons appear. If you're just here, then that's the maximum that you see.
Yeah.
But when you move, you see many things. And that's what also, when I meet new sets of people, and when I engage in conversations like this, I see new horizons through your eyes. The very fact that you're looking at me, you're seeing worlds which are not visible to me.
Yeah.
And for me, that intrigue that human beings bring, it's like reading the books and then meeting people who have read and lived lives. How important are people? Because I have seen you are a people's person. Okay, even at work, I have seen you, how your team interacts with you, how you are with your team. All right. And so what brings you closer to people? Is this all this that you're saying? I can see it in some way contributing to who you are as a human being, as a banker.
Yeah, actually, it's possibly one of the reasons why I've always been in retail banking. As a banker, I could have gone into this fancy corporate banking and investment banking, all of that. Retail is where the people are. And every day you meet so many different people, so many different situations. So like I started selling my career started selling Barbie dolls. That's where I first went ahead and met, just imagine learning on the job. You're sitting in a toy shop and customers coming in to buy toys. That's where you start meeting with different people. And forever I've felt that, look, the more people you meet, the more diverse people you meet, the more different opinions you get, the better your own life is. You're just seeing different people. So I've always enjoyed that, which is why I love my travel. I love going to different places, different cultures, different views. So I honestly, while I'm not saying I'm an extrovert, I can't go out openly and just meet people for the sake of it. But I can't sit alone continuously as well. Of course, my wife will disagree, because if I put on my TV, she knows I can sit in front of the TV for hours. And I hope
You're not alone. You're not alone. There's stories happening in front of you.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I'm still watching some people, maybe virtually. But people are an integral part of who I am. So just, you've seen me on stage. I mean, right? For me, that's the fun. You're talking to people, and suddenly then there's so many people there interacting with you. One-on-one, I'm possibly not as much fun. I hope I am, but I don't know.
How important is listening to Ramki?
This is, I was just thinking about this, how life has changed. I was some days back, I was sitting and making a list of when we were kids. Since you asked me about childhood,
Hmm.
what is it that you learned, and what is it that you're doing now? So I remember all kids have always been told कि बेटा uncle को ये बोल के दिखाओ, ये गा के दिखाओ. It's
Hmm.
always talk, talk, talk.
Hmm.
Suddenly today the buzzword is listen, listen, listen.
Hmm.
We've been taught to speak, now we're being asked to listen. But if we don't listen, I don't know how we'll talk. So
Hmm.
I think this is something else that I read somewhere. Most people listen to respond, don't listen to understand. So you're saying something, I already have my response ready, which
Hmm.
means I'm not really listening. So yes, listening is important, but and I'll be upfront, honest with you. I think I can do a lot more. I can do a lot more in terms of listening. I know I need to listen, but I love to talk.
I'll share something very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, so last evening, I'm again blessed by some extraordinary friends, and one of them is Gopal Rao. Uh, he leads landmark education in India, and I did the landmark forum with him years back, and since then we're also friends. And last evening we were in a conversation, Pilu, Gopal, and I, and he shared something very powerful, and it just came up for me as you said this. Just imagine, Ramki, that when we are listening, so at one level we say, okay, I should not listen to respond, then I should probably listen to understand. And he shared something very powerful. He said that imagine you're listening and you're not understanding. But imagine that even in your listening, you're allowing the other person to speak,
Mm. Mm.
allowing that person to express.
Mm.
And I remember a very interesting episode that happened during our interaction in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And there was a sharing that this person then we are dealing. Remember, we were doing something
Oh,
around
yeah.
customer
I,
centricity.
yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a interesting prank that I played, as part of the,
It
creating
was
that kind of
brilliant.
tension. Okay, and so there's this lady who said something very, very powerful.
Yeah.
I remember she was right at the back, and she got up and she said that they had met a client who was really upset,
Yes.
and a little later they found out something completely different why she was upset about. And it just came up for me, how, imagine, beyond the obvious immediate listening and our understanding of it, there are so many truths
Yeah.
which we are not understand, but
Yeah.
imagine they are there.
Yeah. They're there. I know.
And
Brilliant.
just by listening to people, we allow them to air it, allow them to express it.
And I'm glad you brought this up, Ashish, because I met that lady later in the evening during dinner. And just the fact that she was allowed to share the story in front of an audience and people listened, whether they understood or not, to your point, is not relevant. But she was allowed to share. She said, I felt so much lighter because this has been on my mind for so long. So, yeah, the importance of listening, not just to yourself, but to the person who's speaking. Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. I,
So it's been a, what should I say? It's, my interaction with you uh, through the years that I have known you, and we meet somewhere or the other. Sometime last, remember, we met at Taj Lands End over
oh,
a.
wow.
Oh,
Look
that
at
was
this.
our first meeting.
This
Let
we
me
have
take a
to
peek.
see. Oh, yes,
Ooh.
we should.
That was our first meeting.
That was
Imagine,
our first thing.
in Bombay, but we met in Delhi.
Yes.
That
And
that
that's what
was
for me, again, a new thing. Here's a
uh,
banker like me. We are trying to tell a story on financial education
yeah,
using artists like you on a theater format. Something
yes.
so different, never ever done before. But you guys pulled it off brilliantly. So that was my first meeting with you, Ashish. It was
Yes.
you are a rock star as far as acting is concerned. I saw you live for the first time and can never forget it. Thank you for that.
So what's very interesting is that creativity in any which way. For me, creativity in any which way when it and I'll forever grateful to Roshan Abbas for having made sure that we meet, because I was working. That was Roshan's project, and Roshan was
Yeah.
doing for you, and
He's,
I got to meet.
he's from across the road too.
Yes, he's from across the road. Yeah. So yeah, he's from my college. My
I
college.
know.
So to let people know that this is a conversation between a Hinduite, this is a Hindu college, and then there is across the
Go on,
across
go
the
on.
road.
Okay.
And just like for Stephens, there's something which is across the road. And Mukherjee Memorial used to be something amazing, in college
Yeah,
days.
I don't know whether you should have participated. I'm sure you would have
I
participated
never
in that.
participated. I went and cheered. I did all
So
that.
this is the story. In fact, since you talked about Roshan, my
Yeah.
first interaction with Roshan was when Roshan came across to our college to participate in the debate.
Right.
And I didn't know him, and suddenly he started talking, and his voice is magical, right? We all know
Yes.
that.
Yes.
He started and that baritone booming voice of his, and he just, beat everyone hollow. Of course,
Yes.
being true Stephanians, we always said, look, as per our culture, we are never allowed to take home the trophy because it's our own debate. Therefore, Roshan won it. But let's be honest, he was in a different league altogether.
Well,
Yes.
that's something to do with the college, So what do you do?
Yes. We'll need about an hour more at least for that.
So it is an absolute pleasure, dear Ramki, interacting with you. An absolute pleasure. There are so many more stories that I know that Reena's paintings. There is so much that I see
know.
the passion with which you. Okay, thank you.
That's a great
Thank you.
one.
That's Divya. That's Divya playing. Can you tell us something about this painting also?
This is actually one of her most favorite paintings. She refuses to sell this. It's a much longer story about this. This is by the way, Reena is not just an artist, she's an art therapist. So she's been working on art therapy as well, and she's a trained art therapist. Incidentally, there is this story about her, she'll say it a lot better, about where she sees a horse in her dreams. It goes back to her village and her ancestry. That horse has been coming in her dreams for years. The day she made this painting, she's never had the dream again. Okay, just think about art therapy, and how they both come together. And look at something, but to both of us, like I told you, we're pet lovers. We had this pet Labrador called Josh, and the eyes of the horse there remind both of us of Josh. And for us, therefore, it's a very, very special painting. She'll never let go of it. But again, to me, for the structured, non-creative guy that I am, she's the complete opposite. So she's had an argument with my father. Again, imagine Tam Bram, Air Force officer. Look how structured his thoughts would be. And my dad's watching. I know he left a comment here. So Reena once said, why should 2 + 2 be equal to 4? It could be 5. And you should have seen his face. He said, how is that possible? She said, no, that's how an artist thinks. So that's my life, and that's how Reena is. And she's of course been a great, great support to who I am today. I hope I get my dinner today because I've said all the nice things.
You'll get you said all the right things. But I suddenly discovered something. When you said that when Reena finally painted that equus stopped coming in her dreams.
Yep.
You know what I just got? I'm just sharing. Remember, we were speaking a few minutes back about when we allow ourselves to communicate fully. When you allow someone else to communicate fully, that person gets emptied
and released.
And that thing released. Yes. Probably Reena just communicated that.
And she was allowed to release it out. Brilliant. That's a nice one. That's a nice one.
And lovely. We may never know what really happened, but let's stay with something which inspires.
Absolutely. It's been... Ashish, I'm amazed at the amount of thoughts you've got out of me, which I've never thought before. I was nervous, like I said, coming into this, but you're obviously a great listener and a conversationalist. You've managed to get out certain thoughts out of me which I didn't know existed.
An absolute delight. Absolute delight getting touched by your generosity, your love. Pilu is a huge, she kind of, is enamored of what you bring each time. She follows your the songs that you release. She follows that, and even today, we are in the process of up till just a little while back, we're in the process of releasing our the workshop on Book My Show, and we are working on it. And then this one, and I felt personally that this is going to be my relaxation bit, just listening to your warmth.
It is my absolute pleasure and honor to be here with you. But talking about Pilu, she's such a fabulous singer. Look, I call myself a time pass singer, maybe above average. She is brilliant, and I know she's been kind enough to invite me a couple of times when you had these impromptu sessions. I've
Yes.
never had that opportunity, but I will. If I have to gate crash into your house to listen to those, you've got a bunch of musicians. And by the way, Ashish, that seems to have rubbed off on you. I've seen some of these where you are singing. You are a pretty good singer. I don't know whether the world knows it or not.
I'm very good singer. People don't give me much of an opportunity. I'm a very good singer. Superb. In fact, the work that I do, is essentially to deal with, people like me. That all of us want to do a lot of things, but things come in our way. Words come in our way where we say that we can't do it, and so we have to find ways to do it. And so thank you for
you're doing a lot. So it's really nice. You're doing a lot of work with corporates. I was amazed first time. You're doing stuff now outside of that. So it's I have a lot to learn from you.
And in fact, I would love to share with people, even as we complete this conversation, the Zone workshop that we are doing on the 18th of September on Book My Show. It is, I'm sharing with people that how, in spite of all the noises that are happening around you, which tell you that you can't do it, you still can, if you can be in the zone. So it's an interesting workshop which is happening on Book My Show on the 18th. People can come and watch. But today, Ramki, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that you, in spite of your really hectic schedule, you could make time for us. I'm blessed. This has been a wonderful thing, and many thoughts that you have shared are going to come back to me.
Thank you so much, Ashish. It's been an absolute pleasure. I always talking to you. It's just learning from you. I love learning from you. So this was an opportunity for me to learn one-on-one. I can't tell you how priceless this is. So thank you.
Bandhu, so what we'll do is that, after this event, we'll just go on to LinkedIn at some point. If you can go and answer a few of the questions that people have, quite a few comments are there on YouTube, on LinkedIn. Please come over and answer. And thank you, each one of you lovely human beings who have been here. Many of, I don't see comments, so I cannot respond. Some of my friends get upset with me, but I'm looking at Ramki and having this interview. So thank you, each one of you, for making time for this. I really respect the fact that, you are very close to Ramki, you're very close to me, that you're here today. Respect your time. You take care of yourselves. And lots of love to you all. All right? Appreciate it. Thank you once again, Ramki. Thanks. Thank you once again, Reena. Thank you once again, Pilu. You've all been there in the conversation.
Thanks to the team behind you. I met your team behind you. I know Divya.
Divya, yes. Divya, just quickly bringing you on, okay? So that people should know. Divya
helped me through all my tech problems. Thank you, Divya.
Yes. So appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so very much. Have a great evening and lots of love to you all. Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.
Cheers.